So will changing to single-member districts better represent the diverse electorate that makes up the school student body? That's what we're talking about this half hour, and we want to know what you think. Join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter. In our newsroom is Fox 26 legal analyst Chris Tritico, news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. Good morning, you guys. All right, so what do you guys think about this one?
So for the AFT, the American Federation of Teachers Union at Lone Star College. So I just don't want to get that out before we get started so that people don't think I'm sandbagging anybody. Mustafa always accuses me of that. This can't help but make the Lone Star College Board more diverse. Studies have shown, and it's just clear that when you have single-member districts, those districts can be made to give opportunity districts for minorities. And in an at-large voting system that they have right now, they don't have as good an opportunity to get on the board. And you know that because there's only one minority on that board. I think there's 9 members on that board, or 7 members on that board. Mustafa, we'll start with you. They settled this. Lone Star didn't say they were discriminating, but they said that in their settlement papers, they said there's a good chance the plaintiff's going to win. That's an acknowledgement.
Well, they wouldn't, an incumbent board wouldn't go to a single member district unless they were being forced to, right? And the reason why they're being forced to is it's discriminatory the way the board is structured. In Houston, we have single member districts. Across the country, we've seen this. Until we had single member districts, you were not electing people that look like the folks that were voting for you. So I think it's time Lone Star went to a single member district, and there's lots of good reasons for that.
Do you think that this is a positive change? And I got 2 questions for you. Is this a positive change for Lone Star? And is this the new face of Voting Rights Act issues? And now every time we need to do something, we'll just have to file suit?
Well, I think, unfortunately, I'll answer the second question first. I think, unfortunately, that's a trend that we're seeing. That's where we're going. And to answer the first question, I tried to do some research to find out if there was any particular instances of discrimination, and I didn't really find anything. I don't know if it's out there or not. You don't have to be Hispanic to represent Hispanics. You don't have to be black to represent blacks. And when you're forming new single districts, you're going to have more divisive. People are going to be infighting, fighting for their territory. It's going to be more divisive. However, when you see, Mustafa mentioned the city has single-member districts. We also have at large. We have a nice
mix.
We have a nice combination of the two. And in most instances with municipalities or different entities, voting entities, that's really where you see a nice, healthy mix. Because in a single district, they're going to be focused on their one particular area. When you have your at-large, they're focused on the entire big picture. So I think you're going to see a different kind of dynamic coming up when you're going to see one district member maybe pitting against the other, trying to fight for those dollars.
So would you would support Lone Star having a mix then?
Yes.
All right. Mustafa, how about that?
Well, mix are fine. I mean, as long as that you are getting diversity amongst the board members. We're seeing that happening right now in Pasadena. Mayor Johnny Isabel has taken single-member districts, and now he's eliminating 2 of them to make them at-large. But rather than expanding the board and creating more at-large seats, what he's basically doing is saying he's getting rid of 2 members, which are 2 Latino seats.
And 2 members who have voted against him at every turn.
It's a power grab, and that's what you're seeing after the Supreme Court has taken down Section 4. Across the country, you're seeing this stuff. We've seen that also in our state in regards to the Voting Rights Act. Voter ID bill that was not going through because of the Supreme Court. Now it is.
But I think, unfortunately, we're missing the point. It's not about creating these districts so that we're saying possibly people of color will run. I think we need to get the entire community involved in the policy-making process, get involved in the system. So trying to change the whole election process and saying, well, hopefully somebody of color will run, we're missing the process. We're missing the point.
But doesn't creating an opportunity for a minority to win a race involve them more in the process?
But how do we know we've done that?
Well, it's more than electing a minority. Basically, what you're saying is that people in this region need a greater voice, and if they elect a minority, that's great. But if they don't, that's still fine. But what happens is that because not all the voting patterns are same across the district, individual areas don't get a voice, and areas that have a larger voting turnout outvote the areas that have smaller voting turnout. So it's not just having a minority voice, it's giving individual regions a voice.
Yeah, but with that kind of logic, I never would have been elected in Sugar Land. The black population in Sugar Land at the time I was elected was 4%.
But didn't you,
and
we got to wrap
so my role was not to represent the black vote. My role was to represent all constituents, and we need to make sure that those elected officials on that board represent all of their constituents, regardless of the color.
Were you in a single member district or at large?
I was at large.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back at the end of the hour, talk about the crashing of the web page for Obamacare.
Yay!
Oh my. Oh my. You know, and so many people on Facebook and Twitter, we're always having a great conversation, and we look forward to continuing the conversation with you guys. All right. I'm getting a big wrap from the producer. Thanks, guys.